This video is to demonstrate how processes and systems can be implemented in Excel. This example it's based on generating quotes. It's quite simple, it's effectively just a template, but this is the kind of process that could be used for whatever system it is that you're trying to implement, whether it's invoicing, inquiries, whatever it is. Excel can be adapted to accommodate any of those things. So what would generally happen in one of these systems is all that is visible at any one time is just the one sheet, and there's generally a menu like this, and each of these buttons you can click onto to take each different elements of the system, and they all speak to each other behind the scenes, if you like. So in this instance you would click on the setup to start with, and here any cells that are green you're able to amend, so you can just put in the name of the client in there, say XLACE, and you've got a list there of lots of different options for your clients. In this column you could put in your invoice type, so you could put in consultancy or training, all the different elements of purpose for invoicing or quoting in this instance. Once we put in a client name here into this column picks up the client name, and we can populate these green cells with the address and the email address for each relevant client. So obviously I've just populated it with some dummy data. Once you're finished with this sheet, you can click on this button here to take you back to the main menu, and you can go back to the setup as many times as you want and make changes in here as well. Okay, so these buttons here are where you would input the data. Generally it's blue. So if we click on quotes, in here any cells that are green have got a little pick list to the right of them, so you can select from the different options. Cells that are white are free text, you can put in basically just as the heading says. Cells that are yellow contain formulas, and they are protected, so you can't actually overwrite them by accident, and it's also a good indicator when you look at the sheet as to which cells that you need to complete. Okay, so what we do is we just put in today's date with the date for the quote and the quote number, and that can include numbers, it can just be text, it can be whatever you need it to be. Then we would select the client from the drop down list, and obviously that's now populated with the clients that we've just put onto the setup page. So if you have a new client, you'd need to go back to the setup page and include them in there, and they'd automatically appear on this list. Okay, then you select the type, so we might say consultancy, and you can put in whatever description you want. This is the description that's then going to appear on the quote as well. So if we put in, I'm just going to put in consultation, just copy that in. This column here is asking if you're going to charge VAT, so it's just a yes or a no. If you choose yes, you then type in your net amount, £1,000, and it calculates 20% of the VAT. This obviously can be bespoke tailored, so if your VAT rates change depending on what different service that you offer, we can amend this column so it will give you the different rates of VAT. You can just select those instead. Once we put in the net, it calculates the VAT and then the gross for you as well, so it just saves you having to manually key those in each time. This column here has the quote been accepted, and you can toggle that between yes and no. While it's on no, it then calculates a follow-up date for you to chase up the quote. This one has been set at 30 days after the invoice date, the quote date, sorry. As soon as we toggle that to yes, that date will disappear because obviously there's no follow-up required. Okay, so you can just plough as many quotes in there as you need to, and then back to the main menu. This button here will allow you to generate the quote. So if we click on there, it's basically a template, and again it's all protected, so you can't overwrite anything, you can't change anything on this sheet directly. The only thing you can change is you can select the quote number. So here it gives you a list of all the quotes that we've put onto the quote sheet. So if we select A008 and click OK, you'll notice that it populates with the name and address for that customer, the date of the quote number, and it pulls in as many lines as we've said is A008. And all the details. That's saying it's £1,000, and then it's got the VAT and the total. This quote can be adapted and put your logo on, any other messages if you want your name and address at the bottom, all those kinds of things, they can all just be added as you need to. We can now just go back to the main menu. If we wanted to make a change to that quote and we wanted to say actually it should be £1,500, we can then go back to the main menu, back to generate quote, and that value there has changed to 1500 automatically. Okay, now these are the buttons on this quote. We can either click this button, which will literally just print the quote out, or we can click on this one and that will email the quote. So if I click there, this works with Outlook. email. So what you can see there, it's put in the client's email address, it's CC'd my email, or it will be yours. It's put in the subject of your quote from Excel Ace, and that can be adapted however you need it to be. And it's also populated some text in there, and it's attached the quote. So if I just double click on this, you can see that it's a PDF copy of that quote that we've just prepared, and it's exactly the same as it appeared on screen, and that's also exactly the same as it would print out as well. Okay, so I'll just close all of these down. So that can then just press send, and it goes straight off to your client. Okay, and then back to the main menu. These green sheets here, these buttons, sorry, these are reports that have been generated from this quote sheet. So if I click on quotes by client, it will basically give me a summary of the total value of quotes raised to date by each individual client. Okay, back to the main menu. We've got quotes by client and type. So in here we can actually select, just show me all the Excel Ace quotes, and it shows me there's been £1,500 worth of quotes raised for consultancy, and it shows me the different types, and we can toggle that between each of the clients. The other one. Okay, quotes by type and month. So this is quite useful just to see what volume of quotes that you're raising and for which different type of service that you offer. Okay, so here you can see in total it's 6,026 again. It shows you how much for each month and then by each of the different types that we've put in. Okay, and this one is follow up. So this shows us all of the quotes that haven't been accepted, and here we can filter it and say just show me those that are due to be followed up in March, for example. Oh, there aren't any. Oh, hold on. I've put a filter on here. No, none for March. I think I toggle that back to yes anyway. So in Jan, let's try Feb. Okay, so Feb, it shows you the original date of the quote, who the client was, and just some minimal information, just so it prompts you to then follow up those individual quotes. Okay, now obviously this can be adapted if you provide materials or goods, then we can build it so that in this quote sheet you can actually put in the cost price and add on profits and margins and that kind of thing to actually build up the quote value, but that can just be bespoke tailored however you need it to be. If you need any more information, please give me a call on 07813 347 139. Thank you.